Payoneer was hugely important in my online business, especially in the early days. And some of you may already know how I lost a few $1,000s to blocked PayPal accounts and scammers. I've told the stories many times on the channel. When I first created my Payoneer account was when I really felt like I was in business properly for the first time, because it meant I didn't have to rely on anyone or any black hat methods to get paid out of my Fiverr account. Even now, Fiverr only allows withdrawals into PayPal and Payoneer accounts. And because PayPal was incredibly difficult for me to get at the time, Payoneer was my only option. And so I depended on Payoneer for a few years, and all the while I was so unhappy with it for two reasons. The first one is high transaction charges, and the second one is terrible exchange rates. Payoneer charges up to 3.5% of any amount you withdraw, which meant for a $1,000 withdrawal, they will take $35, $70 for 2K, and so on. And if you are a Nigerian and you want to withdraw from your Payoneer into your local bank account at their exchange rate, expect it to be below, very well below market rates. And so I was losing hundreds of thousands of Naira at some point by withdrawing from my Payoneer account into my Naira account. And even now that Nigeria's new financial reforms have tried to unify the exchange rate so there is not a huge disparity between the official and the unofficial rates, Payoneer's rates will still have you losing money. For instance, the exchange rate today on platforms like Gray, Raynest, and Clever are around 1,390 Naira to $1, while on Payoneer you will get somewhere around 1,360 Naira to $1, which means if you're withdrawing $1,000 on any other platform, you would get a 1,390,000, while on Payoneer they will give you 1,360,000, and just like that you've lost 30,000 Naira. Yes, the amount may be small these days, but it used to be way more of a loss to Payoneer's crappy rates back in the day. But even now, it's still the platform with one of the worst exchange rates and transaction charges. It's now getting to about 2 years since I made my last transaction on Payoneer. The last time I made a transaction using my account was, I think, sometime around September of 2024. And that's because now I have better ways of receiving payments from freelance platforms and directly from my clients. So Payoneer stopped being my preferred method for a while now. I guess my verdict is that Payoneer is not worth it in 2026. However, I keep the account for a couple of reasons. One is that I generally like to have options. There is no reason to not have Payoneer. The account is free after all. So I keep it as a backup in case my main methods of receiving payment fails, if there's any hiccup anywhere. And the second reason is that there are platforms where Payoneer is one of, if not the only method of getting paid. For instance, on Fiverr, Payoneer and PayPal are the main withdrawal methods for Nigerian accounts. So it makes sense for me to have Payoneer as a backup plan. And reason number three is that Payoneer is one of the only platforms that allows you to withdraw into many different types of accounts, especially domiciliary accounts in Nigeria. So if for any reason I want to withdraw my money into a domiciliary account, I do that through Payoneer. PayPal will likely have you withdraw into a USD account. And other fintech platforms in Nigeria will also have you withdraw to a Naira account. But Payoneer allows you to withdraw into a USD domiciliary account. A Naira account is also available, and at some point I think they even allowed you to withdraw into cards. So the variety of options is one thing that makes me use them for that specific reason. Payoneer is a nice tool to have in your tool stack as a Nigerian freelance remote worker, but for me, it is not a tool I heavily depend on or I use often. So if I were to rate it, I will give it a 2-star rating out of 5. Check out the next video to see the platforms I actually use currently and recommend.